Welcome to Origin Stories. I'm RD.
I'm Parrott.
We're telling stories behind the digital art revolution
Each week we interview top artists.
and live stream with the community.
Let's go. Today is tomorrow's origin story. Boom, boom. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Parrott? I can't believe we're this close to each other and not in person doing this.
I'm the same.
So I guess to set the stage for everybody, you're still in New York.
Still in New York, yep. On
I am in
hotel
Pennsylvania.
Wi-Fi, by the way. So hopefully I don't cut in and out too much.
We got you now. We're going strong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What's new, man?
Oh, I've been having a great week here, man. It's reminiscent of Miami, where I'm just meeting so many people for the first time, for the second time, some people for the third time. That it just reinforces that connection that I feel with everybody. Like being able to see them in person and be like, oh, we get along in real life, not just on the internet. And it's like that instant friendship that you'd almost expect to have. It's there. I can confirm it.
Confirmed, man. So sad I had to depart after like the shortest 36 hours ever. But,
It went by so fast.
I know. But I guess my question to you is that I didn't get to go to Christie's with you, but
Yeah.
I know you were back there checking things out there, obviously through the close of what was a historic auction. Talk us through that piece. I'm super curious. That was something I was hoping to be back for, but talk us through it.
Yeah, man. So, as everyone knows, this was Fewocius's Christie's auction week. That's the main reason why I'm out here is to support Fewo through that process as well as many other things. But so we went with a group of people Monday to Christie's when Fewo was there. And it was crazy, dude. It was super crazy. I saw Fewo painting his paintings and, doing his digital art for like months now. I've watched the whole process from when Christie's hit him up and was like, we want you to do this thing. And then him like scrambling with like ideas and landing on the idea of doing the yearlies. And then, watching that process unfold. And, I saw the paintings in this basement and like this dim, dark lighting, and they look so beautiful there. But then when you walk into Christie's, they're on this pristine white wall with all these lights on them, and it's just like it was like this actualization of what he's been going through, and extrapolate on that what the whole NFT community has been going through, like through this where we were last year, 6 months ago until now, and so many people's art are in these auction houses now, these prestigious old time art auctions. And I don't know, it was a very powerful feeling, man.
I had the opposite of like the group experience there. It was just it was Matt Medved, Dave Krugman, and I went over, and Christie's was like empty. It was at the very end of the day. And that was fun, I have to say. Walking up to, what for anyone who hasn't seen it, Fewo's art occupied its own, what would you call it? Like own open air room, like with two staircases to either side of it.
Yeah.
And so it was framed perfectly. So you get this feel as you walk up to it. It was very much a thing unto itself.
It wasn't grouped with anything else. It was just like, this is Fewo's spot. And it's right in the center too. When you walk in, it's just like, hello world, I'm Fewocius.
And that was the best part, because there was all that was it Sotheby's originally who did the CryptoPunks and like sized them really small. Remember all that stuff?
Yes. I don't remember off the top of my head right now if that was Christie's or Sotheby's that did that, but they were like hidden everywhere.
Yes. Yep, exactly. And I know there was a lot of like, what, how could you not take this opportunity to, do it bigger or do screens or whatever. I personally enjoyed seeing, it felt like a feature. It felt like it was there and it was boom, here you go. Like, here's this space. We're not tucking it in a corner. Well,
Yep.
That was awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Man, what a crazy week. And then there's, the 2 or 3 hour long clubhouse yesterday. I don't know if you had a chance to pop into that at all.
I was tied up all throughout it, and it made me so sad.
Yeah. Hosted by Parrott, and, everyone was in there. Paris Hilton was in there, and Fuel's management, and so many people in the community were in there. And that's what I love about Clubhouse or Twitter Spaces or what have you. But it's like it's almost like you're all together, and that's why they call them, I guess, Clubhouse rooms, because you're like all in the same room, and you can like all witness the same thing happen or talk about the same thing happening together. So it was very emotional. It was very powerful. And the lot started closing, and like I remember Amir was in there when he won one. And like, so they're like, Amir was in the clubhouse talking, and they're like, you just won, like, lot 15, 14, I forget which one off the top of my head. And it was cool to see that like explosion of excitement ripple through all those people like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is fun to have someone in the room who is active in the bidding and or outright winning one of the pieces, and I know. So what was the breakdown? I know Eric Young.
Was won
prominent in there. Yep.
Yeah. Justin Sun won one of them.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yep. And so, and what's cool about that too is, Fuo is going to be hand delivering these to the collectors. So now Fuo gets to go to like Hong Kong and deliver that.
That's so fun.
And I think Amir's in the UK, so he gets to go UK, and Odious is in the UK too. So I don't know if I'm going to, but if I do, we're going to meet Odious together. I'm excited just about that prospect.
Remember when Odious wouldn't even show his face?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Now you're going to go meet him in the UK.
Dude, it's so funny. Like the whole project we were working on, like we worked with him on that project for months, and we had no idea what he looked like.
Yeah.
Luckily, his voice, carries a lot of weight because it's so elegant and great.
I know. Agreed.
We were like, we don't even know what this guy looks like.
So mysterious.
So mysterious.
That's amazing, man. Amazing experience all around. Held down. I mean, such a historical moment, and also I would add in the context of so much else going on at the same time. The fact that like emotionally, I felt like Fuo and Christie's kind of held down the whole space, even while at Sotheby's, by the way, the World Wide Web original source code.
Dude, I love that, by the way.
At Bonham's, the crypto OGs, right? Shout out A Lot of Money, Coldy, X Copy, on down the line.
Yep.
Matt Kane. And then Twitter releases 140 NFTs into the wild.
I love that, because wasn't Twitter's like originally 140 characters was all you could tweet?
Yeah, that's right. Nice little synchronicity there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It seemed like yesterday there was like this, with all that happening, it's just an explosion. Suddenly everyone's talking about NFTs again. Being alive, not dead. I guess people were talking about NFTs being dead a few weeks ago.
No shock. They're here. They're here. They're kind of bigger than ever in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're getting what I like about it is like when everything a few months ago was just starting to blow up, it was a very new thing and a very confusing thing to a lot of people who didn't know what NFTs were. So they were, being talked about in this like, what's all this weird internet shit? in almost the same breath as like the meme stock kind of thing that happened, And now I feel like people are taking them a little bit more seriously, because they're seeing these big brands, these big companies, these big auction houses continue with the movement.
I was talking about this a little bit earlier, but there's an interesting moment going on with the auction houses too, where I feel like there's these several stages of adoption where,
Mm-hmm.
we're in this stage right now where I think the big auction houses see an opportunity and are moving into that opportunity. But
Mm-hmm.
still, the winning bidders in almost every single case are crypto native bidders, are NFT
Yeah.
space native bidders. And I
Yeah.
feel as though the more digitally native art is showcased at the larger auction houses, I feel like it's inevitable that at some point that begins to balance out. Maybe not all the way originally, but I feel like you'll start to see examples. Let me just put it that way. The next step
Mm-hmm.
is seeing examples of singular bidders from the traditional art world who dip a toe. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that'll be a big deal when it happens at like a FIWO auction or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, a crypto OGs auction or a
Yeah.
Victor Mascara fuck render auction, like whatever it ends up being. When that happens, I'll be smiling.
Yeah, I think we still have a little bit more time for that. I bumped into a traditional art collector the other night, and he was didn't know really anything about NFTs besides that it was like digital art, and that's about all he
Yep.
knew. But he was interested. He was like, "But I like looking at the art and hanging it on my wall. Like, can you do that with NFTs?" And we're like, "Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you use digital screens, and some of them are paired with traditional art on canvas as well." But
Mm-hmm.
he was like, still like, didn't fully grasp the concept, but he wanted to. Like, he was
Mm-hmm.
asking questions. He was like, "Send me more information about this, please. It seems like a really, really cool thing." But like, he didn't quite click yet. And I think
Yep.
that's the case for a lot of these traditional art collectors. They're interested, they're very curious, they're taking it seriously, as much as they
Mm-hmm.
can right now without all the knowledge. But yeah, I don't think they have enough knowledge to buy yet. And that's where the community comes in, where we have to educate the public about how this all works.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's why time at auction houses is so important. Like seeing the next
Exactly.
iteration and the next iteration. As soon as it becomes a thing,
Mm-hmm.
as with anything, if something's in your peripheral vision for long enough, eventually it's like, hey, let me go learn more about that. Hey, that
Exactly.
does look interesting. Oh, now I'm seeing it for that
Exactly.
fifth time.
Yeah.
I, I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, very similar to the arc we've seen with cryptocurrency as a whole, where for the
Mm-hmm.
longest time, really until like, this year, last year, these hedge funds and these like, actual traditional finance investors who play the stock market and acquire companies and do all that traditional finance stuff. Now, because it's been in the peripheral for, you know, 7 years or so, now they're paying attention and they're learning more because they realize it's not going to go away. It can benefit them, and it's going to what the early adopters have known for so long, and we're still in that early adoption phase ourselves. I think
For
the
sure.
people still trickling in even after the big boom or whatever that happened a few months ago, still early adopters.
Definitely still early. No question, still early. Um,
Yeah.
and that's the fun part, it's the fun part of it all. So what else? I mean, what a crazy day yesterday. I woke up with that on my mind today. It was just the enormity of what yesterday was and what it represented as a
Mm-hmm.
whole on so many different fronts, so many different locations. Um, what else? Happy birthday, Dave Krugman.
Happy birthday, Dave Krugman. I'll tell him you said hi when I see him later tonight.
Yeah, so sad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's been so nice. I love New York so much. This is really my first time spending a chunk of time here because the last time I was here was just for that like quick 36 hours, which we both know goes by so quickly.
So quick.
For the Artifacts Times Square situation. So
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I've been to Brooklyn a few times, staying in Manhattan right now, and been able to walk around and try a bunch of different pizza spots, do a little shopping, and go to some different NFT parties and events and stuff, which has been great. Yeah, dude, I love the city. There's a certain energy here that I've never experienced in the city before.
Yeah,
it is something very special, and I feel people say that, but it's like hard to capture that magic without experiencing it.
agreed. It's like the energy of the city combined with the continued energy of the doors opening on like the NFT space colliding with each other. All those connections.
Yeah, man. I mean, everyone I've talked to so far has been so awesome. Everyone's just glad to be out again and mingling with people. So there's just, a certain amount of just like excitement to be alive and out there in the world again. And, everyone I've been talking to either fully invested in NFTs, curious about NFTs, or eager to learn about NFTs. Like there's a very, very good energy, and it's building and it's spreading.
Agreed. In here, Jarlin Perez, what's going on, man? Still, speaking of New York, someone I want to connect to in New York. Period. End of story. I feel like I need to get there and spend more time. I think I actually might be Jarlin. I think I might be heading back to New York in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I would love to connect.
I'll be gone by then, dude.
We love you, man. You just got to come back. No, I'm just kidding. You've taken so many flights. I feel like the next stage is definitely me coming up to the Pacific Northwest to see you.
Yeah, I love that, but I'll be back here again soon, I'm sure.
Because I feel like you've been dude, you were in New York, you were in Miami, now you're back in New York. It's like I feel like you just need to come on over to the East Coast.
Yeah, maybe. Might be talking about it a little bit.
Nice, that'd be amazing. But yeah. So I'll make it up your way too. But Jarlin, let's do it.
Jarlin's in New York, right?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Let's see if we can't meet up this weekend, man. It would be cool to get dinner or lunch or something like that, Jarlin.
Boom. Now I'll be even more jealous. You might as well just keep layering in those photos, man. I saw you out with shout out Jay and Silva the other night.
I'm so glad I got to see him. He was only in town for a few days, but dude, I have to show you these pictures he took of me. So we're like out at Pride at this street party. Mm-hmm. The energy at Pride, by the way, was very, very palpable and crazy and exciting and full of love. And so we're out there, and I'm like, I think Jayen's in town. Like, let me hit him up. So I hit him up. He's like, I just got done dinner with my mom. I'm in the city. He's like, let's link up. I'm like, okay. So I send my location, and then 10, 15 minutes pass, and I'm like, okay, like let me get the street coordinates to text him so he knows what intersection I'm staying at. So I'm like texting him and like looking up at this street, and he's in front of me and he takes my picture.
Yeah.
And then I look down, I'm like, who's taking my picture right now? And there's a picture of me, like, and then I realize it's Jay, and I'm like, oh, and he takes my picture. So it's like this like 3-part picture of like me being like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, he got some good pictures. He's so talented, man. Like photographers, I have so much respect for because they, can capture moments, and they're fast to act too. Just like
fast. They see it. They know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jayen's. I love seeing him in his element, like in Miami with his camera doing different things. That was amazing to watch and witness. And when you said that, it immediately made me think of that. Just watching him in action, doing things rapid fire on the spot, like so confidently, so in control of everything he was seeing and capturing. Dave Krugman's another one. Have had the pleasure of witnessing him in action. It's so casual.
I know.
Able to like maintain a full so masterful and able to maintain like that full dialogue with you as they're just like rolling and capturing and
yeah. When I try to take a good picture, it's like I have to be like, all right, is this right?
Size it up exactly.
Don't talk to me. I'm thinking
exactly. I was taking a picture of like the Fuo's art at Christie's, and it took me probably like a minute to get everything the way I wanted it to. Yeah,
exactly.
That's how it goes for us normies.
Yeah, well, maybe someday. I'd love to get in photography at some point, but just because it seems like a fun thing to do as a hobby, at least,
Yeah, no question. What else is going on out there? I want to give a shout out to Defaced. Have you seen his like the things that he's putting out?
I haven't been on Twitter as much as I have been before this week, but I did see like a big like plush thing of his character of Starman.
He made a puppet.
Oh, it's a puppet. Wow.
It's like a full scale. I mean, it looks like it could be literally on the Muppets or Sesame Street, like one of the two things. It looks like it would be right at home in there, just kind of like holding court, talking to other characters. He went all in. That's a high quality puppet, and
that's crazy.
It changes. It's new. It's different. It's fresh, and
Yep.
I'm paying attention. I'm like, what is going on with this? You know, he used it in some promos, and I mean, he's got some stuff cooking. You know, he's got some stuff cooking. He's teasing at some vastly bigger concepts, all in that Starman, Star Maker universe that he's building.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, Defaced, like if I had to pick some underrated artists out there, like the most slept on, he's one of them. Like ever since I first saw his art last year at some point, I was like, this kid's got something special. His art. Did you see the Ferocious the Sailor rendition that he did?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Let me see if I can find that.
I did. I saw it. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I also saw what was tripping me up. I also saw the drawing he did of Fiwo and Jonathan Wolfe together.
Yes. Let me bring up that sailor really quick. I'm gonna screen share because man, his work's so good. And he Fiwo has a very specific energy in his art, and I feel like Defaced was able to capture that.
Oh yeah. He's a master.
He really
Absolute
is.
Master.
And then on here it is right here.
Yep. So good. So good.
Dude. What? So good. It's crazy. Yeah. And then, on top of his awesome art, he's a very nice human being. We've had him on here a few times, impromptu live streams with him.
Anytime, any place, Defaced. You know it. Anytime. I feel like
exactly
those who have been there with us. I was thinking about this the other day because you and I had even commented the other week where it felt like the good old days, when we had fired up Origin Stories and it was like that community vibe in here and everyone was like jamming on possibilities, and it had that vibe a couple weeks ago, even to today. Defaced, Odious, Tommy Wilson.
Yep.
Like in here since basically day one. Jamming, sending fire, constantly. So I feel like any of those guys, I'm probably missing like two or three. I'll come up with them as we go. They'll hit. But anytime, any place they want to get on here, it's an open invite.
Definitely, man. Yeah, they can. They all hold conversation well. They hold the stage well. Great input. Great artists.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Also, shout out to Tommy Wilson for his 3D art that he's excelling in right now, becoming a wizard in the 3D world so quickly.
Yep. I just saw that super rare piece out, right? New super rare piece out.
I did not see that yet. Like I said, I've not been on Twitter this much this week.
Hang on. Let's figure this out. Extraction.
Oh, yep. Okay. Here, I'll screen share one more time for you guys.
Nice.
Shout out to the day ones.
Shout out to the day ones. There it is. Extraction. I like the messaging too. It's like ultimately a representation of how difficult it was to find my creativity during the first few weeks of the season, of baseball season. That's a really interesting concept to me, because this man is there trying, like he's out there in multiple respects.
Crushing it in two separate worlds right now.
Exactly. So I like him playing with the intersection of those and the possible separation of those. I think he's very much in that spot of like not wanting to be boxed in, right? But I think there's also a lot of power. There's also a lot of power in that boundary and like grabbing something from one world and pulling it into the other. So he's one person I'm really, really excited to hear wherever he decides to go with his voice. as long as it's organic. And I think Tommy, like from everything I've ever known about him, he's brought it forth in a very organic manner, and I appreciate that. I'm here for that.
Same.
I got the man.
How are you feeling?
The shoe.
Oh, no way.
Did you know that?
Nope.
That's Tommy. That's Tommy's cleat right back there.
I did not know that.
Yeah, man. I actually didn't even know this when it happened, but Tommy and I had connected for his origin story, and at the time, his Genesis piece on Super Rare was out there for a little while, and he had been doing other stuff and doing awesome. And I was just like, dude, if you're down, let's just take care of that right now. And like I got his Genesis piece on in that moment, and he was like, dude, did you know it comes with my cleat? And I was like, I didn't even know that, and yeah, and that's apparently it's the best game that he ever pitched. It was like he pitched a perfect. I think it was Tommy. I apologize if I get this wrong. I'm pretty sure he pitched 7 perfect innings and then was removed from the game for, I guess, like a pitch count or something like that. But pretty sweet. I'm proud Tommy Wilson, friend and supporter.
Very awesome, dude. I am loving the collection of art in your background as it's growing. It's getting better and better.
There's something really cool that's going to be up there. Did I tell you that? I might have told you that.
You did tell me there's going to be something really cool, but I don't think I know what it is yet.
Fair. Well, I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah, let's make it a surprise, man.
Oh, let's go shout out while we're in shout out mode. Actually, let me pull it over here. Hold on. Hold that thought.
Ooh, I will.
Just something arrived yesterday. I have not posted it on any social platform yet. Any guesses? Comes in a box this size.
Is it an infinite object?
It is not.
Oh, I guess that was a good guess, though, right?
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Shout out to.
Oh, that's a Slime Sunday, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I also love, number one, super high quality book. 2, man took a lot of time to write these messages.
Oh, all by hand?
All by hand.
How many went out, if I may ask?
I believe, and cool, kind of like it's a mixture of all of this. How many went out? 261? 261.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of messages for sure.
Right? So, pretty stoked about this.
Damn near half a book right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. He wrote a book just in messages. But anyway, shout out Slime Sunday.
Oh, speaking of handwritten messages, can we talk about how awesome it was that Fuwo thanked all the bidders with personalized art pieces?
Dude, when I received that, oh man, how did it take this long to get to that? Because that just like made my week. Sorry to Robbie Trevino, I had to move my Twitter avatar aside, everything.
That's a very special thing.
It was a very, very special thing. It was a very, very meaningful thing. I want to say, like, it was a doodle. It was termed a doodle. It's more than a doodle. That's a high end doodle. It was like just very thoughtful stuff. Very thoughtful stuff in there.
It really was.
Huge thank you to Ferocious for one, thinking to do that, but also just not, like, clearly not mailing it in, like going all in with those doodles.
It was not half-assed, man.
Not at all. It was double. It was the opposite of half. It was the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the other way. So
well, that's why Felix the best. He thinks of things like that and he executes things like that, and he's such a a community leader in that sense. Like his love for his collectors, you can't say he does not have that.
I agree. It's like so many things about the whole approach to what Christie's was and all of what went on around it. You know, you had the collector rewards go down on Nifty Gateway during.
Yeah. Lauren won one of those, by the way. My girlfriend.
So can I tell you how the lengths that congratulations, Lauren. By the way, I love Lauren.
You guys finally got to meet last week. Thank God.
I know. It was the best. It was the best. It was the best spending time, period, end of story. Can I tell you the lengths that I went? So we were at the beach for 2 days as a family for Marissa's birthday, by the way, for my wife's birthday. And we were sitting there as a family over dinner, and I left dinner, much to the chagrin of my family, because I couldn't log on to Nifty Gateway from my phone.
Oh, no.
So I ended up going back to the hotel room for far longer than I expected, because I have a lot of FIWOs. And
you do a captcha for each one, right?
Each one.
Yep. And
you get as many entries as you have per reward piece. Yep. So I think now, thankfully, I didn't I have some FIWOs that I had like redeemed through Artifact Studio for shoes that were still over in my OpenSea. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even transfer them back. So I would have had even more. But I was sat there for basically almost a half hour just going through captures, and I won nada, nothing, zero.
A for effort, though. Yeah, Lauren had 7 entries, seven FIWO pieces on her Nifty Gateway. Shout out, by the way. She's what has.
Wait, say again. What you cut out?
Oh, sorry. I said what a collection Lauren has, by the way. Shout out to her.
Shout out.
Shout out. So she had 7 FIWO pieces, and we're on this boat party with Matt, Medved, and Coin Artist, and Chad Knight. And so we all set our alarms, hoping we'd have service out in the middle of the river by the Statue of Liberty. And all right, it's time. And we all just sit there for because one of my FIWO shoes didn't transfer in time. It was stuck in the process. So I had 3, and it took me, probably like 10, 12, 13 minutes to do them all. And Lauren was there just for a half hour straight. Yeah. She won one, so good for her.
Well deserved.
Good luck on that woman.
Yeah. I left 1-0 and angered my entire family in the process. Lose across the board. I
feel like I've heard a similar story with you dipping out dinner to do some drawings before.
The other one was Victor Mascara. Shout out Victor Mascara.
Yep.
And that one worked out well. I prepped that well. I was able that didn't have like that mechanic where you could enter a whole bunch of times. So right. I feel like I was able to control that situation much better. Whereas this one, it's like, hey, I'll be gone for 5 minutes. Run back to the hotel room, and it's like, no, this is gonna take a lot longer than that.
Like, I'm gonna miss the appetizers, the entrees, and dessert. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Fortunately, couldn't laugh about it in the moment, but can laugh about it now. We're in a good spot.
Good.
What else, man? This is good time. It's like one of those weeks. There's so much to talk about.
I know. There's always a billion collectible projects being dropped every day.
We are in the rarity avatar collectible era, firmly.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a collectible project, it's probably the best time to drop it. It's, It might be a cash grab, but it's a successful one.
Right. Well said. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't aped into any of those since Bored Apes. I don't know.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. I feel like my time's spent better in other avenues right now.
It's fair. It's fair. Actually, you know what? There was a really good discussion today on Twitter that was very level-headed, and I want to shout out Kinshiro.
I saw that. Yep.
He's a good personality in the space for sure, and Elo, who was kind of bringing some good questions to the table. It's a good thing to talk about. A lot of people are curious. A lot of people are like, what's going on right now? Is this good for this space? How is there similar projects that keep coming out day after day that seem to all be getting snapped up? And it's just a good thing to talk about. And like, I was asked for my perspective on it, and I used 4 words to frame it up. And this is a very generalized opinion. Like, there are always exceptions. There are always but this is a generalized opinion. Yeah, it's like trading, liquidity, status, and community were the 4 words that I used. And it's like trading and liquidity are dictating everything right now. That's where the whole, everyone who is interested in that is there right now, because it's active and it's popping and it's going. And any people who need liquidity or interested in liquidity and or like trading, they're all there and they're all doing the thing. And that's what it is. And then the other side of that is status and community. And to me, that's what determines what sticks. And, I don't see more than a few sticking. That's just my opinion. I'm talking about, but when I say sticking, I'm talking about sticking, like year, 2 years, right? Yep. Could be 1, could be 2, could be 3, who knows? I don't think it'll be much more than that. And then that comes down to the interplay of like the strongest community with the best roadmap, plus the status that intertwines with that. That'll be what sticks around long term when it comes to those specific types of projects.
I agree. I think that's a very healthy take on all of that.
And right now, apes are way in the lead to be one of one of a few that sticks around long term.
Yeah, and they I do like apes. I'm a little salty because I sold all of mine. I minted 14, from the website, and for like 0.08 ETH, and I pretty much 100x my investment, so it's okay. I'm not that salty, but. But I am a little salty. I don't have 1 or 2. I feel like I got left out of the club, Then everyone got the kennel, the dogs, which I think is cool. I think Bored Apes has done a lot of things right. They came in at the right time. The art is good. I like that art. Great art from an artist perspective. It's like catchy. It's fun. It doesn't take itself seriously, and there's all the traits are like cool combinations. But they've done a really, really, really good job at fostering the community and then continuing to build on it where they don't lose interest. If they just drop the apes and then they're like, there you guys go, then it would not have had the success it's had. But they, give people access to like cool stuff on their website. They let people make shirts and, use it in art. I don't know if it's like $100,000 limit of what people can monetize off their own apes they buy. Something similar to that. And then they do the dogs, and like they keep the excitement and community together. And I think that's people could learn from that. I'm sure people are learning from that, but it's one of the first projects I've seen since CryptoPunks. I don't even know if CryptoPunks after the fact to keep people involved. And I think it's good, people bond over it. Friendships are made over, Bored Apes. And I think that overall it's a net positive. The net negative just being all the copycat projects that come out and eat up people's liquidity.
And that, if there's an issue with it, it's this, just to be transparent on both sides. Like, I'm all for it. I'm a big, open market, look at it pretty rationally and just everyone's going to do what everyone's going to do. And if you like something, bet on it. If you don't. That's been my take a step back philosophy. The one, for weighing pros and cons, I'm all for apes. Let's put that to the side. I'm talking about the rest. The downside to the downside to the rest of the projects, especially the ones that you can kind of look at pretty transparently and know there's not necessarily an innovation here or whatever, blah, blah, blah. The downside to that is when there are apex predator traders, which there are.
Yep. Whales.
when there's right when there's too much of the general liquidity, not only in, like you're saying, being eaten up, but in that case also being taken out. That's the concern. That's the downside.
Right.
When there's an apex predator trader, it's not, they're just what it is, C-ball, hit-ball. They're not looking to then put it back into a bunch of other. They're looking to repeat the process in another place and then extract some more liquidity. That's it. That's just, again, balance perspective. It is what it is. So it's just keep doing you. Everyone keep doing them. That's just the one red flag that I would see.
For sure. There's some people that are, like you said, extracting liquidity and profits, and I think Apex Predator is a good way to put that. And personally, as an artist as well, I would. It's like, the reason that I didn't buy a CryptoPunk yet is because that 20, 30, 40 ETH or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'd way rather inject that back into the community by supporting artists, and I don't, have the need to feel like I'm part of some club or some, I don't need the CryptoPunk avatar on my Twitter to feel like I'm part of this community and stuff like that. And I'm, not throwing shade at anyone who does have a CryptoPunk. I think it's an awesome project, and it's probably one of the few collectibles that will be talked about still in 5 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, and it's always a balance. It's like, where's the line? Where's the thresholds to this? It's like, it's why we talk, right? It's why we talk. It's why we get together, why we jam. And I think one takeaway from that Twitter dialogue today, which again, I think was a very productive Twitter dialogue with, again, shout out to Elo and Kenshiro for good balanced perspectives and like open dialogue. Freedom of speech was mentioned, open debate was mentioned in there. I think that's the most important thing, is like, talk about it. Like, talk about this stuff openly. Why not? And I think there's a fear factor sometimes, especially if someone's playing the status game and is interested in maintaining a certain, certain presence or persona or avatar. There's a concern there of like keeping that up. If you think something, maybe you don't say it. And I think healthy debate is important. And as the community expands and as the NFT space expands, and it's like, another thing that was mentioned is that art and collectibles are not mutually exclusive, meaning they one doesn't necessarily directly take away from the other. And that's an interesting discussion too. You're right. They do sometimes serve different purposes, and like, let's dump it all on the table and talk about it. That's for me, that's fun.
Yeah. And this is, still new to all of us, and we're all figuring it all out as we go. And being able to talk about stuff openly like this, helps us set up healthy boundaries and discussions, and helps us all learn more, and I think benefits the community overall.
Agree. I feel like that's why, right? It's like one of the major reasons why we did this thing in the beginning, and why one of the core purposes or missions that I think we both rallied around is like meeting here, sometimes just us, sometimes with guests, telling stories and then jamming on things, pulling up marketplaces, talking about things, like talking about why this, why not that, maybe consider this, maybe don't consider that. Yeah, it's just fun. It's fun, man. It's an evolution.
Yep, exactly. I'm gonna have to cut this a little bit short today because I have to get to Brooklyn soon. But before we end this, I do want to shout out one more cool thing that was announced this week that we haven't talked about yet, and I will share my screen.
Do it.
Boom, 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 boom. Oops.
Oh, great shout out. Great shout out.
We got Fuckgrinder. We got Victor Mascara. We got Mad Dog Jones. We got Banksy, Invader, and Cause. Just some very, very huge names in all the senses.
It was really like Fred, Victor, Mad Dog, like really nice of you to let those other guys join in. Like that was very, very that was very big of you. Like, it's a good lineup, but thank you for clearing the way for those other guys. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
let the little guys have a light. Fuck Ryder. Come
Exactly. Exactly. The face is here. What's up, homies? That lineup is insane. What's going on, man?
We were just shouting you out earlier.
Exactly. You and Odious and Tommy Wilson and many others. Many others. Here's even Jarlin was here pretty much since the beginning too.
Yep. Also want to shout out Chad Knight. I've been kicking it with him a lot. I think he's back in Portland now. I spent a lot of time with him this week, and he's a very, very, very cool person, very special person, and has some great art and great ideas.
I just missed Chad. I just missed him.
I know.
Like, let's grab some coffee. I'm like, I just left. Like, I just left New York. Love Chad. I got to spend a lot of good time with him in Miami. Great human being, and yeah, cannot wait to connect live or otherwise, like very, very soon.
Yeah. All right, man. I feel like that was a good discussion today about a lot of exciting things that happened this week.
Agreed. Go have fun. Say hi to Lauren. Happy birthday, Dave Krugman. And we'll do it up next week after July 4th holiday. We'll get some good stuff on the books. We'll get some guests. By the way, one shout out. I don't want to dominate time with it, but big shout out to Justin Maller and Philip Hodas.
Yes.
Like maybe lost in the history of yesterday, the mega item, like Justin Maller choosing to release Leonine, which has been his longtime avatar on the Artifacts project, was like a deeply meaningful thing. Really, really special stuff. And Philip Hodas putting in so much effort with his 3D model with Dirk to really bring that to life in absolutely epic fashion. Special stuff, man.
Yeah, man. I just gotta say, I can tell, besides my bias of being your friend and podcast partner, how special the Artifacts project is, because each and every artist that's involved with it believes in it and loves it so much, and really put effort into their art in this. I think that says a lot about the project as a whole. It wasn't client art, it wasn't a favor, it was something everyone was and is and will continue to be very excited and invested in.
Thank you, man. Within the last 2 hours, maybe, who knows, maybe it was origin story, something in the water, but within the last 2 hours, 12 sculptures just got scooped by four brand new collectors. So thank you to each and every one of them. One of them said it's a hidden gem. I continue to believe it, but anyway, I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I don't want it to be like Roger always, but hey, just pretty jazzed about this week.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. All right, man. Until next week. Over and out, guys. Much love.
See you, everybody.